Well, welcome to the 700 Club. For today's top headlines, let's go to the CBN News Desk.
Gordon, President Trump's decision to pull the U.S. out of the Paris Climate Agreement quickly received mixed reactions, with Democrats and international leaders upset, but Republicans supporting it. Gary Lane has the story.
When President Trump announced this on Thursday,
the United States will withdraw from the Paris Climate Accord.
The reaction from many U.S. Democratic politicians, world leaders, and Hollywood elites almost seemed like the president's decision would lead to the end of the world.
It is a huge mistake, and future generations will look back on this day as one of the worst things that's happened in the 21st century.
The rest of the world no longer respects the United States. This is the biggest issue in the world to most of the countries that have signed this agreement. They expect the United States to be the leader and not the laggard.
The president opened up the possibility of renegotiating the agreement, but the leaders of France, Germany, and Italy say that can't be done. Here in the U.S., so far 10 governors and more than 60 mayors say they plan to honor and uphold the commitments made in the 2015 Paris Accord. The president said he made his decision because the industry restrictions mandated by the accord would harm American businesses and workers by making them less competitive in global markets.
I was elected to represent the citizens of Pittsburgh, not Paris.
Many Republicans on Capitol Hill were supportive of the U.S. pullout. Among them, House Speaker Paul Ryan praised the presidential action, saying, quote, "The Paris Climate Agreement was simply a raw deal for America, signed by President Obama without Senate ratification. It would have driven up the cost of energy, hitting middle-class and low-income Americans the hardest." And from the coal state of Kentucky, Senator Rand Paul, who tweeted, "This action by Donald Trump is great news for the economy and could save as many as 6 million U.S. jobs." This retired coal miner from West Virginia said it was a big day for coal.
He's keeping his promise that he's going to help get the coal jobs back, help people get back to work, and that's what we need. Anywhere in this country. You can go to Detroit, you can go to Pennsylvania, you can go to West Virginia. There's people been laid off for years, and it's been forgotten.
Gary Lane, CBN News.
President Trump won't be moving the U.S. Embassy in Israel to Jerusalem from Tel Aviv, at least for now. The White House says the president made the decision to maximize the chances of a peace deal between Israel and Palestinians. But the administration also emphasized that the move is only a delay and that the question is not if the president moves the embassy, but when. The military in the Philippines is trying to recapture a city from rebels with ties to ISIS. CBN's Lucille Tolucin brings us that story.
The Philippine military is waging an all-out war against the ISIS-linked Mauti group in Marawi, Mindanao. Security forces are trying to liberate the seized city from the terrorists by launching surgical airstrikes. Tragically, 10 soldiers were killed recently when an army plane accidentally bombed the Philippine troops. The soldiers were positioned close to where the terrorists were holed up.
Sporadic gunfire and airstrike bombs can be heard from where I am standing. Now, this village has turned into a ghost town, and this is part of the 85% of Marawi City that is now under the control of government troops. But as the government forces continue to advance in fighting against the Mauti group, their main concern is the safety of the trapped residents and hostages that these terrorists are using as human shields.
Our mandate, just remember the mandate of your troops on the ground is to neutralize and destroy the remaining local terrorist groups and be able to rescue the trapped civilians in the hostile area.
Since the beginning of this war against the Islamic extremists on May 23rd, the number of internally displaced persons has risen to 200,000, which is two-thirds of Marawi City's population. Evacuees like Lailani are now suffering the brunt of the Marawi crisis. She said many people feared getting caught in the crossfire, so they left their homes and all their belongings in order to save their lives.
We were so scared, especially for the safety of my baby. And so on the second day, we hired a jeepney to be able to escape from the crossfire.
Lucille Talusan, CBN News, Marawi City, Philippines.
Those are today's top stories from CBN News.